Hey everyone, it's Matt from Train Sim Society and welcome back to the channel. We have a busy week with Train Sim World news. We have another update today. Dovetail is writing that this is post-release patch number 3. This is our first major update for TSW5 and includes several improvements and fixes based on your feedback. This update focuses primarily on TSW5 core routes while also introducing comprehensive functionality and gameplay improvements for the Expert BR 101 locomotive. So for our headliners, core, various minor memory optimizations for console platforms, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. Okay, but what about PC? Because, some of us running on NASA computers, not having any mods installed, are still periodically receiving crashes on some of these really busy routes. And when looking at the crash reports from Unreal Engine, they're memory-related crashes. So I know not everyone is experiencing this, so it's probably not a big priority for them, but I would have hoped that they would have done something for PC as well. Thankfully, the crashing that I get doesn't happen super often. I only get like one crash a week, and it's usually only when I'm in journey mode doing some of the timetable stuff. But if I actually avoid journey mode, I seem to be getting a lot less crashes. I'm starting to think that it's actually the dynamic weather, because whenever I'm not playing in journey mode, I never ever use dynamic weather. I feel like it sucks. Some of the transitions between the weather effects are not smooth. They're almost instant, like a flicker and a flash of light, and it's very immersion breaking, so I try to avoid it, but I've noticed that these crashes are happening when I'm in journey mode playing with services that are using dynamic weather, so maybe it's that. I don't know. The second core they have here is profile importing has been resolved on Xbox and PC. So for West Coast mainline, various optimization improvements to help performance across the route, definitely needed, especially at London Euston, but honestly the real problem is Frankfurt Fulda. Like, I was doing a service last night at like 5 o'clock in the morning, rolling into Frankfurt, I was getting 18 frames per second. I'm sorry, there is no reason that somebody with an NVIDIA RTX 4090, 64 gigs of RAM should be getting less than 20 FPS. That is just ridiculous. This route is just terribly optimized, and there weren't even any like static trains laying around. Like, the station was empty. Frame rates at some of these bigger stations suck. Like, even New York Penn was better than this, even at its busiest moment when there were like 10 to 12 or even more trains sitting at platforms in that station. Euston Station lighting has been updated to be less bright overall and prevent train coaches becoming too bright inside the station. London skyline should be visible at all appropriate distances. They added the missing OHLE wires just outside Milton Keynes, heading south, and fixed floating OHLE brackets. Good. Bletchley Station has been updated to correct major texturing issues. I've been seeing that one a lot over on the forums. Passengers at Bletchley Station will no longer get caught in large groups on stairs. Watford Junction exterior signage and branding has been updated to reflect the real-life management of the station. Updated camera collision when inside Euston Station to prevent major view bouncing issues. Updated lighting in tunnels across the route to prevent trains becoming too dark when traveling through. Shit, I was having the opposite issue where the trains were too bright, especially every time one of those little strip lights passed. It would like flash inside the cab, and the faster you go, the quicker and brighter the flashing lights were. I'm shocked they didn't put an epilepsy warning. That's how bad the lighting is in some of these tunnels. Yikes. And lastly, for West Coast mainline, fixed an issue where grass walking audio was played when walking across metal bridges across the route. There are more improvements coming. They have mentioned in their previous roadmap article, they are working on a timetable overhaul, or at least some major timetable improvements. They didn't really give us much details about that, but we're gonna find out more on that in upcoming articles and roadmap articles. So for Class 350, added missing track joint sounds, headlights will no longer remain active despite being toggled off in the cab, updated gangway door audio to play as expected, updated the interior door animation to play as expected, and removed clicking a sound audible in the fan aircon when running at 50 miles per hour. They do right here, in the coming weeks, additional updates will be released to address more issues and introduce further improvements. Please stay tuned for more information on what you can expect in future updates. We greatly appreciate your continued support and feedback with TSW5. So that's it for the headliners. The full complete change change list. I'm gonna have screenshots on your screen. Here is everything for core. This includes fixed an issue where using fast travel on Xbox could soft lock the player, remove restriction on TSW 3 and 4 pre-order decals with livery designer, and fix a crash on PS4 when starting up a custom scenario. There are a load of fixes for conductor mode. You know, one thing that I really hope that they change with conductor mode is after you complete a conductor mode service, it gives you a medal for that whole service, even if you aren't actually driving the train. I would like if those medals were separated. You know, after you complete the service, you see silver, gold, or even platinum just glow on the ticket icon and not for the actual medal icon unless you drive it. Because sometimes I'm playing through it and I'm like, have I already done this service? Because, you know, obviously I've played the service, but I don't remember if I've driven the train for this or if I did conductor mode for this. It just kind of gives you that medal overall for that service. I would like if they were split into two so you have different things to achieve with one single service. There's a pretty big list here for UI and menu fixes or adjustments. A lot of them is honestly just small typos or adding missing spaces or characters and stuff like that. Some overlapping going on, but everything is listed here. The issue in photo mode where players fall through the map after exiting photo mode has been fixed. There are 2 fixes for the live map. Honestly, seeing the performance, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, when you zoom in on that live map and you exit out of the live map, your frame rate in game is going to tank. I've been seeing this firsthand a lot. Make sure that you zoom all the way out on the map before you exit the map and go back into your game to recover those lost frames, because for some reason the labels and stuff really kills the frame rate, and even after you exit out of the map, that frame rate that you had while looking in the map still applies in your game. I don't know if this is something they intend to fix. I don't see it here listed in the patch notes under live map, but it's definitely very worrisome. They fixed an issue where Xbox controllers cannot interact with route hopping menus. They fixed an issue where editing scenarios, name or description jumps to the end of the text box, and there is one fix for PC editor. They fixed a crash when selecting ECP and placing signals. Now, West Coast Mainline for all changes is actually massive. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I will have it for you on your screen in case you do want to pause and read through all of the details. Of course, I did want to read the headliners as they are the most important notable things that they want you to know were fixed with this update. Seeing that they made a lot of adjustments to, you know, optimization with scenery and assets to help better utilize and reduce memory loads, I'm hoping that that definitely helps with crashes that some are having on this route, even on very high-end PCs, which there's just simply no excuse for. I'm excited to get in my game and give this a shot today. There's a longer list here for Class 350 and 1972 stock, as well as Class 377. The Avanti West Coast Class 390 was included with 4 fixes. They updated various service durations to allow for completion within the time limit. They fixed an issue where some services were in reverse formation with first class at the rear heading to London, and various improvements to fix typos on pop-ups and PIS displays. They added additional car traffic around Interstate 215 near San Bernardino. Now, I'm just reading through this because I want to see with all these fixes, are floating cars on here? Because that was one of my biggest complaints with this route. And, you know, there aren't many complaints with San Bernardino. I think it's a great route, honestly. They are doing US players justice, you know? I've probably played that one the most out of everything that I've played. The scenery is great. The trains are great. The sounds are great. The environment, amazing. It's really just those floating cars, and sometimes those cars would just randomly stop on the highways and then they'd be going through each other. Other than that, and a few like missing gaps on road textures and stuff here and there, the route is just, it's splendid. It's so amazing. They write that they fixed multiple assets around Covina that appear to be floating in the air. Hopefully some of those are cars, but nothing is specifically about floating cars here, which is a little disappointing, but oh well. Honestly, I didn't expect them to fix that anyway. And there is a little list here for the Metrolink MP36PH3C. They updated the animation of the assistant engineer's emergency brake to play correctly, fixed an issue with missing audio when interacting with the alarm silencer and HVAC control switches, fixed an issue where the player could be prompted to climb down from the cab while on the platform during the MP36PH introduction, and they have localization improvements for rail driver controls. You know, they do right here missing audio when interacting with the alarm silencer and the controls, but there was one issue in particular where I can't remember if it was PTC, but it was one of the safety systems in the MP36 PH, where you would go to flick the switch to turn it on, but the switch wouldn't actually move. It would just say that it was on, but the switch would still be in the same position. I don't know if that's been fixed. Maybe that's what they're talking about here, but that's like one of the main bugs that I've been experiencing on this route. There's one fix for Metrolink F125, the Rotom cars, and the bi-level cars. So for our list for Frankfurt Fulda, definitely not as long as West Coast Mainline. It doesn't seem that there were any adjustments to scenery and, assets the same way that there were on West Coast Mainline to improve performance. I don't know, maybe they can't improve performance above what it is, which if is the case, that's very disappointing to be quite frank. So lower frame rates are likely still going to occur around Frankfurt for pretty much everyone, honestly. And we have a list for the DBBR 411 Ice-T, the DBBR 114, DBBR 193 Vectron, and the Flixtrain Vectron as well. And to finish things up, we have a couple fixes here for Rosenheim Salzburg, Bremen Oldenburg, DBBR 425, and Niddertalbahn. And in case you're curious about the Expert DBBR 101 and IC Steuerwagen Loco, there is an insane update just for this DLC alone. There's just no way that I'm reading every single one of these, but if you want to pause and read, feel free. Like, I'm honestly surprised. I feel like the fixes just for this Loco add-on are honestly just as big, if not bigger, than the whole patch for literally everything else. They right here at the end, thank you for your patience while we worked on delivering these fixes. Additionally, our teams are still continuing to work on optimizations to help prevent crashes and areas of FPS drops across TSW5 routes. Thank God. And also, please think about PC, I know that crashes are happening on consoles, but PC players are also experiencing these things, and for some of us, without mods, with doing fresh installs of the game, and doing a million other tweaks and fixes and still experiencing these issues, we are a part of that group too. And we also know they're committing to fixing West Coast Mainline with some major improvements, one of which being the timetable. We're gonna learn more on that soon, and they finish up here with, we're still developing and testing these, and we will share more news once they're ready. So that's gonna be it for this video. Share all of your thoughts on this patch notes down below. Is there anything that you're experiencing that you did or didn't see here or want to see within the next patch update? That's gonna be it. Take care. Thanks for watching. If you found this video entertaining or informative, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications, and I'll see you all next time. Take care and happy rail simming. Bye guys.